Ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to introduce Shri Mithileshwar Thakur. Shri Thakur is a member of the Indian Civil Service in the Government of India. He is a gold medalist in B.Tech and the recipient of a merit scholarship and a topper of the university board at all levels. Prior to joining the Indian Civil Service, he had worked as a member of the IRS in Indian Railways and as an engineer in well-reputed companies like NTPC, Tata Motors, and Tata Steel. He has served as a visiting faculty to many reputed institutions like IIT Kharagpur, National Academy of Customs, Excise and Narcotics, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, RBI Officers Training Institute, Narsimonji Institute of Management, etc. He has a wide experience in trade-related issues and has been on the panel of experts in various institutions and bodies. His area of interest also includes intellectual property rights issues and cyber laws. He regularly contributes to reputed magazines and newspapers such as India Today, The Hindu, and the Economic and Political Weekly. He has presided over many functions and seminars organized by reputed chambers of commerce and industry like FICCI, CII, FIEO, Indian Chambers of Commerce, etc. He has also been a government-nominated member of the working group set up by the Government for Local Currency Trade, government nominee member of the Cotton Advisory Board of India. He has also been a key speaker and panelist at a reputed forum such as the Economic Times Manufacturing Summit 2014, Thomson Reuters OneSource Global Trade Launch 2015, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shri Mithileshwar Thakur.
Dignitaries, members of the audience, ladies and gentlemen. I know we are running out of time really. Well, you had a professor, a technocrat, and now you have a bureaucrat. Well, it is indeed a privilege to be here today at the auspicious occasion of launch of report Digital Delivery of Services by Dun Bradstreet, and I believe Dun Bradstreet we know are known for things that they do. So we would expect all of you to give a round of applause to the team that has made this possible. Friends, we have had a lot of techies already here, so I would refrain from venturing into that area. Talking technical for me would be like Himesh Resamiya giving music lessons to Lata Mangeshkar. Friends, you know, service sector in India has a special significance in the sense that it contributes very handsomely to the GDP, almost 52% to be precise. But not many people would be knowing that service sector not only contributes handsomely to the GDP, it also does a great deal basically in reducing the trade deficit that we have. India, like many other developing and developed countries, runs a very huge trade deficit in mercantilized trade. But thanks to the surplus that we generate in services, that the overall trade deficit in goods and services have consistently been down in spite of not very praiseworthy performance in the export sector in last few years. And if you talk about our foreign exchange earning in services, IT and IT services, they account for roughly 50 to 60%. And if you talk of net earnings, probably it would be 80 to 90%. So friends, IT delivery of services, this digitization and this digital revolution has actually brought a kind of paradigm shift in the way we live, in the way we transact our business, in the way we conduct ourselves. Who would have imagined maybe few years back that to fetch a cinema ticket or to get a bestseller of your favorite author, all that you need to do is to swipe your smartphone. But digitization has made this possible. And it not only brings efficiency, it also brings scale and speed. But I would not like to go much into that. All I would like to say is that if the past decades have belonged to, say, like green revolution or white revolution, then the current decade and maybe many more decades to come would invariably belong to digital revolution, or if we can call it a gray revolution. Friends, I would like to talk what government is doing about digitization. Because digitization, but for government, it has a slightly different but a definite purpose. A slightly different but a definite aim. And that definite purpose is that government, by digitization, wants to reduce paperwork, wants to remove clutter in the offices. We deal with truckloads of papers, believe me. And wants to basically reduce human interface, which is the sole reason for corruption in government offices. And it also wants to bring in transparency and predictability in the operations. And you all know that one of the flagship programs that our Prime Minister, Honorable Narendra Modi, has introduced is Digital India, apart from Skill India and Make in India. And the emphasis of Skill India would be on improvement of connectivity. See, in spite of India being an IT superpower, IT hub, a back office of the world and whatnot, our connectivity is only around 12 to 13%, which is so poor. If you compare with China, which is around 46% of connectivity, and US probably 85%. So the challenge that we have is to improve connectivity. The second objective of Digital India is to introduce e-governance. By e-governance, we mean really smart governance, simple, moral, responsive and transparent government, an accountable government. And there are a lot of things that are being done. We are trying to integrate all panchayat, the IT hub is trying to be created, the e-commerce is to be promoted, and India must leverage that IT, prowess or strength that it has to improve our educational institutions. Because we knew that we have a lot of unemployed people, but very few are employable. And if we do not really push it through, the digital revolution, probably the so-called demographic dividend that we talk about, that we have 65% population below 35, that demographic dividend may soon turn to demographic disaster. A lot of other things, I'll talk about the Department of Commerce in the Government of India. And not only that, you see that government now in all essential services you find that there is an established system that everything, all requests, all applications you can file online. In Department of Commerce, like a lot of licenses, permits, quota and all that we give. Now for everything that you require, there is a facility, rather it is compulsory for everyone to make application online. You know that there is a network called IceGate, Indian Customs EDI Gateway, from which the shipping bills or bill of entry from seaports, they travel, through that network and get into depositories of different Department of Commerce. And so somebody who wants a benefit, they can simply log on to that depository, pick up that shipping bill and apply. About a couple of years back, we pride ourselves by doing something great. When some entrepreneur, somebody doing foreign trade or exports, wants to claim some incentive from Government of India, apart from other things that they're required to do, they are required to give a proof of realization of export proceeds, that you have got so much of US dollar or euro or whatever. So they were required to go to each and every bank, get that kind of a certificate, then manually submit it to the department. It was a whole, go through the whole rigmarole of process. Now what we did, we started interacting with banks, that why should somebody approach you? Why don't you generate eBRC and upload it into our server? And believe me, today we have an eBRC system which is operational for last almost 2.5 years. We have some 190 banks on board, some 1.75 crores of BRC, and this data we are sharing with 12 state governments and enforcement of directorate. And now exporters do not have to go to bank at all. The moment they get that receipt of foreign exchange, it automatically gets uploaded. So there are a lot of things that government is doing and is keen of doing. The challenge is that we must not lose the track. Then there is another important thing, custom has opened a national single window. Now what is single window? There are, many countries, because what happens, India is a place which like the ease of doing business, you must be hearing every other day. Now, India's rank was 142nd. It recently improved to 120th position because we require lots of permission. To set up a hotel, you require 90 clearances. To set up a small enterprise, I'm told you require 57 clearances. So, single window has always been the ultimate utopian scheme in the mind of government. Now, to begin with, a national single window has been introduced in custom, where somebody, exporting an item which is under lots of regulation, they do not have to go knock the door of each and every authority. So there are 4 or 5 authorities on board, like plant quarantine people or animal quarantine or food safety authorities. But all they need to do is that they need to digitally file their requests, and then the objections, if any, will have to be digitally transmitted to the exporter online. So things are being made easy. Probably we are not very, very happy with the pace it has happened, but then we must keep on leveraging, the skill set that we have in IT, that we have and digitization must continue. So I would say that digitization would not only improve productivity, it would improve efficiency. And if you want to be called a real superpower in true sense of the term and want to be equated with developed countries, then probably this is the thing that we need to pursue and pursue it hard. I would end with a caveat, with a word of caution, that technology, my friends, is a double-edged sword. It cuts you both ways. So as long as you use it intelligently, sky is the limit. But do not allow it to sweep you off your own feet. So we should be judicious in using technology, and then probably we can do wonders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shri Thakur, for your thoughts and insights. Ladies and gentlemen, with that we come to the formal release of the report, Digital Delivery Systems, a $1 trillion opportunity. I would now like to request Shri Thakur and Professor Rao to please do the honors. May I also request Mr. Ghosh and Mr. Pednekar to join them in this special task. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the report, Digital Delivery of Services, a $1 trillion opportunity, is now officially in the public domain. Thank you, Shri Thakur and Professor Rao, but before you leave the dais, please accept a token of our deepest appreciation. I request Mr. Ghosh, Leader Technology Asia, Dun Bradstreet, to present the mementos to Shri Thakur, Joint Director General of Foreign Trade. I request Mr. Ritesh Pednekar, Solution Architect, Enterprise Business Mumbai, Tata Teleservices Limited, to present the memento to Mr. Suresh Rao, Chairperson of Center for Entrepreneurship Development, SP Jain Institute of Management and Research. Before we move on to the next level of this event, that is the panel discussion, we request the guests to please fill up the feedback forms enclosed in the welcome kit and hand it over to the registration desk.